Hey guys! On a small island off the southern coast of Crete, there's a population of men who have puzzled researchers for decades. Men in their 80s and 90s with cardiovascular health markers that scientists would expect to see in someone half their age. Flexible blood vessels, robust circulation, energy that men in the Western world gave up on decades ago. And when researchers started digging into what made these men so different, one thing kept showing up. Every single evening, these men consumed a generous portion of extra virgin olive oil mixed with specific local herbs and spices. A nightly ritual passed down through generations. Not a coincidence, and modern science has now identified exactly what those compounds are, how they interact with olive oil at the molecular level, and why taking them before bed specifically matters so much more than any other time of day. That's what I'm breaking down today. The complete nightly olive oil protocol. 4 ingredients stirred into 1 tablespoon of olive oil, taken 30 to 60 minutes before sleep, that can genuinely transform your morning circulation. And for those of you who want to go even deeper, I've written a free ebook that covers the full science behind why oils are so powerful for vascular and sexual health, including how castor oil can also be used to support erection quality. Links in the description, free to download. So, the base. Extra virgin olive oil itself. This is not just a cooking fat. It contains over 30 distinct polyphenolic compounds with documented biological activity. The heavy hitters are hydroxytyrosol, one of the most potent natural antioxidants ever measured, outperforms vitamin C, vitamin E, and CoQ10. It shields your blood vessel lining from oxidative damage, especially during sleep, when your endothelial cells are actively rebuilding themselves. Then there's oleuropein, which directly kicks nitric oxide production into gear, and oleocanthal, which fights inflammation with a potency that researchers have compared to ibuprofen. But here's the practical genius of olive oil. 70 to 80% of it is oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that acts as an incredible delivery system for fat-soluble compounds, dissolves them, holds them, and dramatically increases how much your gut actually absorbs. Which means everything we stir into this oil becomes significantly more potent than swallowing those same ingredients in a capsule with water. And timing is everything. During sleep, your body goes into full cardiovascular repair mode. Parasympathetic nervous system takes over. Blood pressure naturally dips. Growth hormone pulses. Endothelial cells regenerate. These compounds get absorbed during those early hours and become available to your body precisely when the repair work peaks. All right, let's build this thing. You start with raw cacao powder, stirred right into the oil. Cacao contains epicatechin, a flavanol that fires up the same nitric oxide engine that olive oil's oleuropein supports, but through a completely separate pathway. 2 different routes to the same result. And on top of that, epicatechin puts the brakes on PDE5, the enzyme that's constantly trying to tear down the relaxation signal in your blood vessels. So you're cranking up nitric oxide production and slowing down its destruction, simultaneously. 1 to 2 teaspoons. Has to be raw, unprocessed cacao, not baking cocoa. The heavy processing strips out everything that matters. Now you add turmeric with a pinch of black pepper. Because inflammation is quietly wrecking your blood vessels every single day, and you probably don't even feel it. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, basically flips the master switch that controls inflammatory gene expression throughout your body. Chronic vascular inflammation is one of the primary reasons circulation falls apart as you age. Taking curcumin before bed means you're giving your body anti-inflammatory protection during that critical overnight repair window when it actually has a chance to fix things. Here's the catch though. On its own, your body absorbs less than 1% of curcumin, basically nothing. Piperine from black pepper increases that by roughly 2,000%. And dissolving it in olive oil stacks another layer of absorption on top of that. 1 teaspoon turmeric, generous pinch of freshly ground pepper. The oil turns this beautiful, rich gold. Then comes the ingredient that most guys overlook completely: ashwagandha root powder. And the reason it belongs in this mix has everything to do with what cortisol does to you at night. Look, when cortisol stays elevated while you're sleeping, and for men dealing with chronic stress or lousy sleep, this happens way more than you'd think. It constricts blood vessels, spikes blood pressure, crushes growth hormone and testosterone production, and blocks the deep sleep stages where your body does its most serious repair work. Ashwagandha's active compounds, withanolides, have been shown in multiple clinical trials to bring cortisol down and improve sleep quality significantly. Lower cortisol, deeper sleep, better overnight vascular recovery, and better testosterone production, which peaks during those deep sleep stages. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. The withanolides are fat-soluble, so the olive oil makes them absorb far better than any capsule or powder mixed in water. And the final piece genuinely surprised me: pomegranate seed oil. Not the juice, not an extract, the oil pressed from the actual seeds. It's loaded with a rare fatty acid called punicic acid, makes up 65 to 80% of its content. You won't find this in virtually any other food you can buy. What makes it so interesting is what it does to your cholesterol. Specifically, it supercharges an enzyme that stops your LDL from going toxic. Because oxidized LDL is one of the most destructive forces in your entire cardiovascular system. It triggers inflammatory chain reactions in your artery walls, chews up endothelial cells, and grinds nitric oxide production to a halt. By ramping up that protective enzyme during overnight hours when your liver is processing blood fats and your vessels are trying to heal, pomegranate seed oil is basically standing guard over your entire vascular system while you sleep. 1/2 to 1 teaspoon, cold pressed, pure, no fillers. And before I give you the full recipe summary, if you want to support your erections from a faster acting angle as well, my friend Dr. Dean D'Angelo put together a video on a fast-acting chewable gummy that works alongside protocols like this one. A lot of guys I've spoken to have had really strong results combining a long-term nightly ritual like this with something that gives them a more immediate boost when they need it. I've linked his video in the description, worth checking out. Now, before you start scrambling for a pen, don't worry. The exact recipe with all the ratios and step-by-step mixing instructions is written out for you inside that free ebook I mentioned at the beginning. Links in the description. Download it so you've got it on hand whenever you need it. But here's what you're making: 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil, 1 to 2 teaspoons raw cacao, 1 teaspoon turmeric, pinch of black pepper, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon ashwagandha, 1/2 to 1 teaspoon pomegranate seed oil. Stir it into a thick golden brown paste. Take it right off the spoon 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Every ingredient is doing something different. Nitric oxide getting boosted from multiple angles at once. The signal that keeps your vessels open, protected from being torn apart. Inflammation getting hit from separate pathways so nothing slips through. Cortisol brought down so your body can actually enter deep repair. And your cholesterol shielded from oxidizing and damaging the very vessels you're trying to heal. Consistency is everything. The immediate effects are real, but the deep structural healing, that builds night after night, week after week. 1 spoon every night. And a cardiovascular system that actually heals while you sleep. Love, Emma.